Welcome everybody to the Winter City Council meeting for Monday, February 6, 2023. This time the City of Winter will implement roll call.
Councilman Burns. Councilman Clay.
Here.
Councilman Hockett.
Here.
Councilman Clunt.
Here.
Councilman Schramm.
Here.
Councilman Sprinkle.
Here.
If you'd all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council, having had time to review this evening's agendas, are there any conflict of interests? Hearing and seeing none, Chair will move on to the consent agenda. Council, having had time to review your consent agenda, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Councilman
Okay.
Clunt has made the motion to approve the consent agenda. A motion has been seconded by Councilman Sprinkle. Floor is open to comments or questions. Hearing none, Chair will call the question. All those in favor of approving this evening's consent agenda, would you please say aye?
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. This motion will carry unanimously 5-0. Moving on to this evening's agenda. I believe we will be pulling item 7? No. Item number 5 from the agenda this evening. Council, with that item removed, is there a motion on the remaining agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Is there a second to this motion?
I'll second.
Councilman Hockett has made a motion to approve the agenda with item 5 removed. That motion has been seconded by Councilman Clunt. Floor is open to comments or questions, Council. Hearing no questions, Chair will call the question. All those in favor of approving this agenda with item 5 removed, would you please say aye?
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. This motion will carry unanimously 5-0. City of Winter will now move on to recognition of visitors and communications. As with all city council meetings, we make a public input period for 10 minutes available to address the Winter City Council. Is there any winter or any public input? Hearing no public input.
I wasn't sure if this was the time.
Nope, this isn't. You actually have a scheduled time. This, yeah, you're fine. We'll move on to communications, and that communication is regarding the fuel bids for the City of Winter. Sandra gone, I'm going to take my best stab at this communication. For the January 4th bid that went out, State Volun Oil received the bid for number 2 dyed diesel at $3.43 per gallon, number 1 diesel at $4.28 per gallon, the 50/50 at $3.86 a gallon, and the regular unleaded at those are from the last note, or meetings, yeah. Sorry, so I said I was taking a stab at it. And it's actually the February 1st. There we go, thank you. I was reading too early. Number 2 dyed diesel is at $3.61 a gallon. The number 1 diesel was at $4.30 a gallon. The 50/50 fuel is at $3.96 a gallon. Regular unleaded at $3.42 per gallon. CHS received the bid on propane at $1.80 per gallon and fuel oil went out to State Volun Oil, also at $3.61 per gallon. With the communications concluded, we'll move on to recognition of visitors. Our first guest tonight for you, City Council, is Winter Resource Center. The podium is yours, Shauna.
May I approach, Mayor? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I've just shared with you just a little bit of our snapshot of services that we provide at the Winter Resource Center. I thank you for this opportunity to come before you tonight to make our formal request for funding. The Winter Resource Center was founded in 1998, and this October we'll be celebrating 25 years of service in Tripp County and the surrounding communities. Since I began my directorship in 2005, we have walked beside many survivors and victims of crime. We've helped them with emergency lodging, shelter, relocation, employment assistance, navigate the criminal justice system, and look for solutions to end the violence in their lives. Through that, we navigate many systems that they may face. We are grateful for the City of Winter's investment in our organization that has allowed us to continue to provide support services for families affected by domestic abuse, human trafficking, child abuse, sexual assault, and other violent crimes. The Winter Resource Center is primarily grant-funded, and with grant-funded projects, community support and volunteerism is essential and a required component for continuation of funding. This month, I will be rewriting for our continuation grants for victim services, and we hope that we have your support in that process. Throughout our grant project, volunteerism is also essential. Through our staff and board of directors and community support, we are able to meet those grant requirements. But more importantly, continue to provide the crisis intervention and support services to crime victims. This last year, Winter Resource Center staff provided 1,323 services to 123 victims and answered 70 crisis hotline calls. Winter Resource Center staff maintains operations of the 24/7 crisis hotline, and our staff volunteers over 6,000 hours of their time to help someone in need and maintain the 24/7 crisis line. This year, we brought law enforcement training by the South Dakota Network Against Family Violence and Sexual Assault, and also child abuse prevention training by the Center for the Prevention of Child Maltreatment to provide community education on child abuse. In addition to our work with crime victims and survivors, we also provide a couple of emergency financial programs through our office to assist Tripp County families. That is through the Salvation Army Project that is ran solely through our office and through the funds that we raise every year during the bell ringing, and also through the Rural Office of Community Services. Through these programs, we helped 135 households and 436 household members with over $17,000 in financial assistance. This can often make the difference between someone who's living paycheck to paycheck, whether they can maintain their rent, keep their lights on, or put food on the table, or heat their homes. So that's just a little bit of a snapshot of the information and the work that we do. I'm very proud of this organization. We do a lot of good work in the community, and we also participate with many organizations, not only at the local level, but also statewide. This year, this week, we'll actually be going up to Pierre and attending some legislative sessions and meeting with our legislators. There will be some sexual assault bills going through, and so we're hoping that that receives support at the state level. South Dakota has made phenomenal gains in keeping victims safe, and so we want to continue to move that process forward. And so I thank you for your time. If you have any questions.
Council. Thank you, Mrs. Beckman.
Thank you.
At this time, as chair, I'm going to suspend the rules and move to new business item number 2. Council, having had time to review your packets, is there a motion on item number 2 tonight?
I'll make a motion to approve the donation request of $7,000 to the Winter Resource Center.
Is there a second to this motion?
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Clunt has made a motion to approve a donation request of $7,000 to the Winter Resource Center. That motion has been seconded by Councilman Clay. Floor is open to comments or questions. Hearing none, Chair will call the question by a roll call vote. Councilman Clay?
Yes.
Councilman Schramm?
Aye.
Councilman Klein?
Yes.
Councilman Hockey?
Aye.
And Councilman Sprinkle?
Yes.
The ayes have it, and this motion will carry unanimously 5-0 to approve the $7,000 donation request to Winter Resource Center. Suspending the rules and moving back to recognition of visitors, at this time, the city of Winter will now hear from the Tripp County Fair Board.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. Thank you for the opportunity to come before you guys tonight. If anybody in here don't know me, my name's Rusty Hina. I'm president of the Tripp County Fair Board. I believe I've been on the Fair Board now for I think I'm getting up to 25 right now, 24 or 5. First of all, I want to thank you for your donation in the past, the $5,000, which was used, most of that gets used for improvements and maintenance of our facility. Some of the events that we hold out there, we have, let's see, a 4-H rodeo, a high school rodeo, a youth rodeo, an amateur rodeo, which is the Elks Rodeo, our Tripp County Horse Show, of course, the Mid-Dakota Fair, something that's going on right now that's really gotten big over the years, our shooting sports, which Jeremy's familiar with, livestock shows, along with the fair. This past fall, we had the South Dakota Trappers Convention. They've been there twice now over the last 2 or 3 years. And of course, the Chamber uses our facility for some of their events, including the Sharpshooter Classic, along with wedding and graduation receptions. The Cattlemen's Annual Beef Fest is another event that's held out there. I'm sure I'm missing some of them. I apologize for those that I've missed. But as you can tell, this facility gets used a lot for a lot of things. It's a huge asset to our community. And it brings many people from out of town, which in turn hopefully means they spend a little money here while they're here. If you have any questions at this time, I'd be glad to take them. If not, thank you for your time and consideration of these funds.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
At this time, as chair, I'll suspend the rules, and I would like to move to item number 3 under new business. Council, item number 3, is there a motion?
I'll make that motion to approve a $5,000 donation to the Fair Board.
Is there a second to this motion?
I'll second that.
Councilman Hockett has made the motion to approve the donation request of $5,000 to the Tripp County Fairgrounds. That motion has been seconded by Councilman Sprinkle. Floor is open to comment or question, council. Hearing none, Chair will call a roll call vote. Councilman Schramm?
Aye.
Councilman Clunt?
Yes.
Councilman Hockett?
Aye.
Councilman Sprinkle?
Yes.
Councilman Clay?
Yes.
The ayes have it, and this motion will pass unanimously 5-0 to approve the donation request of $5,000. Once again, as chair, I'll suspend the rules, and we'll move back to communications and recognition of visitors. That has concluded. City of Winter will now move on to, there are no department reports this evening. There are no bid openings. There are no public hearings and no Board of Adjustments. City of Winter will now take up old business, of which there is one item tonight. Council, having had time to review your packet, is there a motion on item 1 under old business?
I'll make a motion to approve second reading for passage and approval of ordinance 1047, a supplemental appropriation 2023 budget for the corrections fund.
Is there a second to this motion?
I'll second that.
Councilman Clunt has made a motion to place on second reading for passage and approval ordinance 1047, a supplemental appropriation 2023 budget for the corrections fund. That motion has been seconded by Councilman Hockett. The floor is open. Comments or questions? Hearing none, Chair will call a roll call vote. Councilman Clunt.
Yes.
Councilman Hockett.
Aye.
Councilman Sprinkle.
Yes.
Councilman Clay.
Yes.
And Councilman Schramm.
Aye.
The ayes have it, and this motion will pass unanimously 5-0. That concludes old business. City of Winter will now move on to new business. I believe there are 10 remaining items under new business. We'll address them one by one. New business, item number 1. Council, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to offer employment to Adam Bossert in the police department as a part-time certified officer at $22.01 per hour.
Is there a second to this motion?
that.
Councilman Hockett has made a motion to offer employment to Adam Bossert in the police department as a part-time certified officer at $22.01 per hour. That motion has been seconded by Councilman Sprinkle. Floor is open to comments or questions.
Glad to have him back.
Hearing none, Chair will call the question. All those in favor of offering employment to Adam Bossert as a part-time officer, certified officer in the police department, would you please say aye?
Aye.
All opposed, would you please say nay? The ayes have it, and this motion will pass unanimously 5-0. Item 4, under new business. Next item to be considered, council, is there a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion to offer employment to Kyle Swedlin in the police department as a part-time certified officer at $24.02 per hour.
Is there a second to this motion?
Second.
Councilman Schramm has made a motion to offer employment to Kyle Swedlin in the police department as a part-time certified officer at $24.02 per hour. That motion has been seconded by Councilman Hockett. The floor is now open for comment or question. Hearing none, Chair will call the question. All those in favor of offering part-time employment to Kyle Swedlin, would you please say aye?
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it, and this motion passes unanimously 5-0. City of Winter will move on to item 6 under new business. Council, is there a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to offer employment to Jeremy Atkins in the police department as a part-time certified officer at $22.01 per hour.
Is there a second to this motion?
Second.
Councilman Clay has made a motion to offer employment to Jeremy Atkins in the police department as a part-time certified officer at $22.01 per hour. That motion has been seconded by Councilman Hockett. The floor is open to comments or questions.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Clay.
I'd like to make a comment on 1, 4 and 6 if possible.
Please, you're allowed. Question or comment?
Comment.
Comment.
Comment. I'm glad to see our part-time officers are coming back, not you, Troy, you're in the road. Justin, Commissioner in Chief, glad to see they're coming back and willing to work for us part-time. Good job, guys, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, excuse me, hearing none, I will call the question. All those in favor of offering part-time employment to Jeremy Atkins in the police department, would you please say aye?
Aye.
All opposed, would you please say nay? The ayes have it, this motion will pass unanimously 5-0. Item 7, council, is there a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to increase wages for Logan Krieger in the Light Department to $32.56 per hour for passing his level 6 testing of journeyman lineman certification.
Is there a second to this motion? Second to this motion?
I'll second that.
There it is. Councilman Clay has made a motion to increase the wages for Logan Krieger in the Light Department to $32.56 per hour for passing his level 6 testing for journeyman lineman certification. That motion was seconded by Councilman Sprinkle. Floor is open to comments or questions.
Have we met Mr. Krieger yet? Has he came in here? Or have I just forgotten it?
Yeah.
He did? Maybe I was gone or not.
I think it was one of the meetings you were gone,
Okay.
Councilman.
All right, I just didn't ring a bell.
You've been gone a lot.
Yeah, one of your hunting trips out west.
Well, thank you.
Any other questions or comments, council? If not, Chair is calling the question. All those in favor of increasing the wages of Logan Krieger, would you please say aye?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, would you please say nay? The ayes have it, and this motion passes unanimously 5-0. Item 8, council, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to increase the wage for Richard Hespy in the Water Department to $20.84 per hour for passing his water treatment Class 1.
Is there a second to this motion?
I'd second that, Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Clunt has made the motion to increase the wages for Richard Hespy in the Water Department to $20.84 per hour for passing his water treatment Class 1 certification. That motion has been seconded by Councilman Clay. Floor is open to comments or questions. Hearing none, Chair shall call the question. All those in favor of increasing the wages for Richard Hespy in the Water Department, would you please say aye?
Aye.
All opposed, would you please say nay? The ayes have it, and this motion passes unanimously 5-0. Item number 9. Council, having reviewed your packets, is there a motion?
Make a motion to increase the construction administration and resident engineering phases for runway 1331 rehabilitation and pavement maintenance in the amount of $1,173.55 and authorize mayor to sign all documents.
Is there a second to this motion?
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Sprinkle has made a motion to increase the construction, administration, and residential engineering phases for runway 1331 rehabilitation, paving, and pavement maintenance in the amount of $1,173.55 and authorize the mayor to sign all documents. Councilman Clay has seconded this motion. The floor is open to comments or questions.
What is this?
Sounds like paint. For that amount of money, you can't do much else than paint a 20-foot line.
Council, I'll call on Mr. Jensen for a description.
This was an amendment to the contract for Helms Engineering, who does all of our airport stuff, and this particularly was related to that rehab of the area of the runway that was done and completed last year, and there's some to finish up yet this year. That's what that's for. And it's a reimbursable expense.
Was there paint involved?
I don't know.
I thought I'd ask for you. Joint sealing.
Close.
Council, are there any other questions? Hearing none, Chair will call the question by a roll call vote. Councilman Hockett,
Aye.
Councilman Sprinkle,
Yes.
Councilman Clay,
Yes.
Councilman Schramm,
Aye.
and Councilman Clint.
Yes.
The ayes have it, and this motion will pass unanimously 5-0. Item number 10, council, is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve paying DGR Engineering the agreement for electric system study task order EP-001 in the amount of a lump sum fee of $35,000.
Is there a second to this motion?
Can I second it?
I guess
second it.
I'll second it, Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Clunt has made a motion to approve the DGR engineering agreement for the electrical system study task order EP-001 in the amount of a lump sum fee of $35,000. That motion has been seconded by Councilman Clay. The floor is open to comments, questions,
Or explanations,
or explanations.
please.
Okay.
So this, good evening first and foremost. This dates back to last fall. We had talked about it originally. This kind of just formalizes it. It's a kind of a long-range plan of the electric system. We'll work with Kurt and the crew. First step is getting some of the mapping up to date and getting all that squared away. And then we'll look at the current system and then isolate areas of highest priority for improvements, associate costs to that. There'll be a report with it, presentation of findings to either the council or the committee, whichever is appropriate there. So this is kind of, this work's kind of just kicking off. Kurt didn't have time to get the mapping stuff updated till this winter, so him and our electric staff have just started this process, and it'll work through really the remainder of 2023 to get it all put together.
And they did budget for it.
Correct, yeah. It was a part of Kurt's budget there, so.
All right, thank you, Jacob.
Councilman Schramm.
Will there be sales tax assessed to that?
On this contract,
I don't know.
should not be.
City of Winter's sales tax exempt. so-
We don't pay sales tax.
Very good, okay, thank you.
Any other questions, council? Chair will call the question by a roll call vote. Councilman Sprinkle,
Yes.
Councilman Clay,
Yes.
Councilman Schramm,
Aye.
Councilman Clunt,
Yes.
and Councilman Hockett.
Aye.
The ayes have it, and this motion will pass unanimously 5-0. Item number 11. Council, is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve the DGR engineering agreement for miscellaneous electrical engineering services task order EP-000, billed out as their January 2023 fee schedule A.
Is there a second to this motion?
I'll second that.
Councilman Clunt has made a motion to approve the DGR engineering agreement for miscellaneous electrical engineering services task order EP-000, billed out at their January 23 fee schedule A, which is in your packet. That motion has been seconded by Councilman Hockett, and the floor is open for comments or questions, council.
I'm only to assume that rate went down.
You would unfortunately be incorrect. The 2023 fee schedule is a little bit higher than the 2022, as is the case with most things these days. But
This was the same time frame as the other one, started last fall. If you guys remember back to May when we did the appointment, we have a civil engineering services agreement in place. This is just on the electric side. It pretty much just an agreement between the city of Winter and DGR for when there's a quick question or something that comes up, need a little bit of correspondence there. That's what this covers. Anything outside of what's the, the scope for the long-range plan, this is, kind of goes on for as long as the City of Winter DGR partnership is alive, or I guess at least for a year until it needs to come about again. But and these both reference the DGR City of Winter master agreement that was put in place in May as well, for that perspective.
Any other questions, council? All right, hearing none, Chair will call the question by a roll call vote. I believe Councilman Clay,
Yes.
Councilman Schramm,
Aye.
Councilman Klunt,
Yes.
Councilman Hockett,
Aye.
and Councilman Sprinkle.
Yes.
The ayes have it, and this motion will carry unanimously 5-0. Item 12 tonight, council. Is there a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd move first reading for passage and approval of ordinance 1048, a supplemental appropriation 2023 budget for water and sewer funds.
Is there a second to this motion?
I'll second that.
Councilman Schramm has made a motion to place on first reading for passage and approval ordinance 1048, a supplemental appropriation 2023 budget for the water and sewer funds. That motion has been seconded by Councilman Sprinkle. Floor is open to comments or questions,
Mr.
council.
Mayor, if I may.
Mr. Jensen, the floor is yours.
I would ask that council amend the motion just slightly by scratching the words "for passage and approval." This is strictly a first reading, and so it should read "for first reading of ordinance 1048," et cetera.
Thank you.
If you would agree to
I would. Yep.
Struck.
Thank you.
I just read what was in front of me.
Exactly.
Other questions, council? Hearing seen none, Chair will call the question by a roll call vote. Councilman Schramm,
Aye.
Councilman Klein.
Mr. Mayor, this does not need to be a roll call. It's first reading.
First reading, it's not second. You're
Mr. Mayor, I'd
correct.
like this to be a roll call if we could, please.
We certainly can. Councilman Schramm, same.
I already gave my
Yeah.
vote.
Councilman Klein,
Yes.
Councilman Hockett,
Aye.
Councilman Sprinkle,
Yeah.
Councilman Clay.
Yes.
The ayes have it. This motion will pass unanimously, 5-0. Final item tonight, under new business, council. Is there a motion?
I will make a motion to pay all the claims.
We have to scratch number 49.
That is correct. Councilman Hockett, would you like to read?
Yes.
Is there a second to Councilman Hockett's motion?
Sure, I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Hockett has made a motion to pay the claims for the city of Winter, excluding item number 49. That motion has been seconded by Councilman Clay. The item being excluded is Heartland Waste Management in the amount of $46,590, which would be a duplicate payment from last month that made it onto this claims list. Council, are there any other questions on the claims that have been submitted to you? Hearing and seeing none, Chair will call the question. All those in favor of paying the claims for the city of Winter, would you please say aye?
Aye.
All opposed, would you please say nay? The ayes have it, and this motion passes unanimously, 5-0.
Will, just for the
There are no executive sessions, so
for the public, Is our next meeting gonna be on the 20th or the 21st? President's Day is the 20th.
Yeah, the way our ordinance
It's the
reads,
21st.
it will fall on the Tuesday, the 21st. God willing, we'll be here on the 21st.
Right.
Council, at this time, Chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Councilman Sprinkle has made a motion to adjourn at 7:05 PM. That motion has been seconded by Councilman Clunt. All in favor of adjourning, would you please say aye? Aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it, this motion passes unanimously, 5-0.